Hello, this is Lucas Palmeira from Imaginando, and I'm here for another tutorial on DRC. A couple of months ago, we had the sad news of Vangelis having passed away, and by that time, I decided to pay a tribute by making the tutorial about Blade Runner Blues. And as I said then, the Blade Runner soundtrack was probably, or it was definitely, the most influential record in my whole life and in my upbringing. I've been hearing it for I don't know how long. There was a phase in my life that I fell asleep every day listening to the soundtrack. It was kind of mental, but it was a good phase. And so it was a record which made me grow in many, many, many ways. So after the tutorial, after making the tutorial for Blade Runner Blues and checking your feedback and thinking a little bit more about the subject, I've decided to make some more tracks of that soundtrack. So I will be making more tracks about of this soundtrack. Is probably my favorite record ever. So here we have Tears in the Rain. Okay, so we got 6 sounds to do, 3 pads, a bass, a Rhodes, and a lead. So we're gonna start with the pad. This one that sounds something like this. Okay, bring back the default patch. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is drop the pre-gain to 677. And I'm gonna change the first oscillator to a square. Sorry. And we're going to go to the LFO 1 rate and drop it to 94 because we want to do some pulse width modulation, and we're going to use this LFO. So 94 rate, and now we want a pulse width of 665. And a pulse width modulation of 363. Okay. Next, we go to the second oscillator, raise it to maximum, and detune it to 108. Okay. And now for the filter, we want to cut off at 844. And then we want to raise the envelope generator 2 amount of the cutoff filter to maximum. This envelope generator 2 amount is the amount of modulation in time that this envelope generator does to the cutoff. For resonance, we raise it to 150. And now we go to the first envelope generator controlling the amplitude in time, and we want to tack at 504. A decay of 500. A sustain of 800, can be 802, and a release of 669. Oh, sorry, this was the first envelope generator. I thought I was working on the first one. That was the second. So 504, really quick, 500, 800, and 669. For the second envelope generator, we want 568 on the attack, a decay of 504, a sustain of 0, and a release of 673. That dip in the filter that you just heard was the sustain in 0 and the filter dropping to it. So now, finally, reverb 681 amount A decay of 846. Damping is default and reverb modulation is 162, so it's very little. Okay, and we got our first pad. Now let's go to the second one. They're close, but not the same. I'm gonna turn off this reverb and this equalizer for now and bring back the default patch. Okay. And for this one, I'm gonna raise the second oscillator to maximum and drop the pre-gain to 653. Detune the second oscillator to 112. Okay. Now for the filter, 708 cutoff. And resonance 168. Okay. Now we go to the first envelope generator, attack 701, attack 1. A decay of 500, sustain 800, release of 854. Second envelope generator, we got 701 again. A decay of 705. Sustain of 400 and a release of 778. Okay. Finally, some reverb. Let's raise the amount to 351. Decay of 754. Damping 500 and reverb modulation of 669. So we got plenty of reverb modulation here. Okay. And now we have here a ballad reverb with 55 dry wet and an equalizer that has a high pass at 90 Hertz and a bell, a low bell taking out 9 dBs at around 1K. Okay, so we got this pad mid. Next, for the pad low, it's exactly the same patch as this one. So you just have to copy it and basically paste it here because it's the same patch. But we got here 2 octaves down and a MIDI effect to bring it 2 octaves down, as you can see. And I don't have the equalizer that I had before. Apart from that, it's exactly the same track. So now let's go to the bass, which sounds something like this. And it got some modulations here, as you can see, that you can check afterwards. But for now, let's bring it back to the default patch. Okay. And let's start by dropping the master to 642. 41 should be okay. Raise the second oscillator to maximum and drop 2 octaves. Then detune it to 200. Go to the sub oscillator, raise it to maximum and raise it 1 octave. Okay, pre-gain at 800. Now for the envelope generator 2 amount, we want 367. Cutoff, let's drop it to 120. Resonance 148. Okay, and now for the first envelope generator, we want an attack of 689. a decay of 500, which is default, sustain 800 default, and a release of 717. Okay. Second envelope generator, 701 on the attack. Okay. A decay of 705. A sustain of 400, which is default, and a release of 778. Okay, we got it. Finally, we go to the reverb, give it 258 amount. 258. A decay of 613. Damping of 500 and modulation of 391. Okay, perfect. So we got our bass now. Okay. And now let's go to this nice Rhodes. Okay. And I basically have here a high shelf at above 4K with 7 dBs boost. And I got here a MIDI effect bringing it down 3 octaves, as you can see. Okay, so let's bring back the default patch. Okay, raise the first oscillator to maximum, and we want a sine wave. And the first thing that we're going to do is drop the master to 785. 786 should be okay. Pre-gain of 543. 544 should be okay. And oscillator 1874. Okay. Now here, envelope generator 2 amount at maximum. Cutoff and resonance at 0, and a low pass 4. Instead of low pass 4 pole, we want a low pass 2 pole on the filter. Here on the modulation, we want a 492 value. This means the higher the note, the higher the cutoff. Although I don't think it will make much difference. And VCA velocity, we want it at maximum. This means the higher the note, the higher the velocity. No, sorry. The higher the velocity, the higher the volume. Now for the first envelope generator, we want attack at 0, decay and sustain at maximum, and a release of 494. Okay, should be okay, 496. Second envelope generator, we want 0, a decay of 393. I'm gonna put 395. And a sustain of 0 and a release of 289. Okay. I'm gonna put 287. Finally for the reverb, 530 on the amount. It's plenty, but then we're gonna have a big tail here. 532, 886 on the decay. This is a lot. Damping of 500 and 122 on the modulation. Okay? And we got here our Rhodes. But I also have here a little bit of boost of reverb. I've got this. This is basically the default reverb that comes when you open a session on Ableton, and I've got a send here just to give it even more a little bit of reverb. So now we go to the final sound, this lead. okay? Which also has this reverb on send at maximum. And I've got this equalizer, which is a high pass at 104 Hertz, a low pass at 16.3, and then I got a little boost here at around 1K of 7.31 dBs, and I'm taking at 174 as well, 1.61 dBs, just to give it a little bit of MIDI sculpting. Here I've got a pitch shifter of 6 semitones. And let's bring back this to default patch and start making the sound. Okay, as you can hear, for now you can hear the reverb and the equalizer. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And let's start patching. So first thing I'm going to do is raise the second oscillator to maximum, go to the second oscillator, and turn the sync on and ring modulator to maximum as well. Okay, and now let's go to the cutoff filter. I think we have cutoff at maximum, release, resonance at 0. Envelope generator to amount is default. So for the first envelope generator, we want a 496 attack. So it's a slow grower. A decay of 870. A sustain of 496. .498 should be okay. And a release of 858. Okay. Now for the second envelope generator, we want everything is default actually. So now let's go to the reverb and raise the amount of the reverb to 448. Decay of 794. A damping of 500 and a modulation of 303. Just checking if we got everything ready. Let's drop this modulation to 296 because of the modulation of the reverb. And now let's change the modulation wheel. So we, instead of giving it vibrato, which I'm gonna take it out here, I'm gonna make it go a little bit brighter with the resonance. So it's just a little bit brighter. 196 should be okay. And I think we got everything ready. So bear with me a second while I get this ready for us to listen to. So let's go. Okay, I think we got everything ready. This was a joy to make. I hope you like it. And there you have it. And this was it, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. This song is amazing. The whole record is amazing. I hope you will enjoy the tutorials that I will be making about this record. And if you do, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything that we're gonna publish. I will now say goodbye and have a nice week.